Hi guys. Alright, so tonight we're going to be working on these guys. Told you that if I was feeling up to it, I would go ahead and replace the BA in them. And I really want to enjoy these the way they should be heard, so don't get me wrong, they sound perfectly fine, but so anybody that doesn't know my background, I work on IMs. I started repairing them recently, and I try to build them, do like DIY work. But anyway, long story short, I bought these. Come on. Come on. There we go. So anyway, I bought these on eBay. I don't know if any of you guys saw them. They were $750. I talked the guy down to $650. One unit was broken. It was this unit here. It had a hole. It was on this side right here. It had a hole right there. You can see I haven't quite finished the repair, but basically it had a hole right there, and I ended up cracking the bottom. This whole bottom piece was missing. But anyway, long story short, I repaired them. I bought some new BA to put inside, and I repaired the holes, matched the finish the best I could. But now, because I have the original BA in this set and the new BA in this set, the bass is louder on this one. So if you look, actually, where did they go? Here they go. Derp, sorry. So you can see the bass switch is up on this side. This is the original side. So I have to elevate the bass in order to compensate for the new BA that are in this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the BA in this unit here, so I can finally turn that switch down and have balanced pair. They sound fine. You can't tell the difference. Like, there's no difference in bass elevation with this switch being up and this one being down. Unfortunately, when I replace the BA, they both will have louder bass than a stock VX. But honestly, is that really a bad thing? I mean, the bass is pretty good on these, and to be frank, I think they could use a little bit more bass. So we will go ahead and take care of that. Let's see. Let's do this. Put this back in. All right. Before I get started, we need to figure out. Okay, there they are. All right. So here are the BA. The model is there. You go. 31618. So if anybody's curious, the BA that are inside the QDC Anole VX is 31618. Here is my soldering job. You can kind of ignore the ones on the sides. The bridge in the middle is the one that I actually used flux, but the other ones I just kind of tacked them on real quick because I had to measure the speakers to make sure they were okay. I'll show you what the stock ones look like, although you will see them again in a minute. Okay. No, I'll show you these real quick. These are E-Audio. Same equivalent, 31618, but they're not Knowles brand. They're E-Audio. They're good, but they don't have nearly as much bass. The mids from these actually sound better than the Knowles, the QDC BA that are inside the VX. So these have better sounding mids. Bass is about the same. It's just much less quantity. So So anyway, that's that. Let's see if I can find them. Do I even have them in here? Maybe I don't. I'm looking and I don't see them in there. Great. Something just flew into my fan. Here they are. Ah, man, that's gonna drive me nuts. Really? Right now, of all times? Anywho, this is the Anole VX BA. That's what they look like. So, if you're ever curious, that's what they look like. Standard 31618. So anyway, before I get started, actually, is that going to go away on its own? Sounds like whatever was in there is dying. Something must have flew into my fan. I have a 3D printer over there, and I have a vent, like a tube that comes out and goes out my window. Something must have flew in the hole. So I actually have two. I have a 8-inch vent right behind me that sucks air out for like fumes, and then I have another vent that sucks air out through my 3D printer so I can print inside my room. So anyway, alright, I'm going to pause for just a minute and I will be back after I get set up. Alright guys, so some of the tools I'll need, if you ever go to do this, if you ever need to replace or repair an IM, you're going to need razor knives like these. Okay, I'll show you what I get. If you ever decide to get into DIY, these are a must-have. So I get these from the dollar store. Basically, they are 6 blades for $1, and I have like packs of these that I just keep on standby. Those are a very useful tool. And then you have your ESD safe, like SMD tweezers. This is great for like picking up BA or picking up dampeners, small stuff like that, placing bits and pieces into resin and whatever. If you crack a piece of resin, you can, you know, place it wherever you need precisely. These are, what do you call them? Needles, I guess? I don't know. Syringes. So if you go on Amazon, you can buy packs of syringes, and you can get them in all various sizes. So anyway, yeah, I got like tons of these things everywhere. But yeah, these are fantastic. They're great for applying resin, because when you're working with IMs, you want to be able to have control over the placement of the resin. This is Nice Fit brand. It's from what is it? Soundlink. It's from Soundlink, but it's Egger. It's basically the same thing. It's Egger LPH or something like that. So you'll need some of that, and then you'll need some lacquer. Unfortunately, they don't sell this anymore. It's the same thing. It's still Egger. So it's the optoplastic material from Germany. So it's Egger. It's just their own brand. I don't think Egger makes bottles this small. So basically, they just put it in their own bottle and sell it for cheaper. Or you can use something like this. I don't really recommend this unless you're making your own IMs and you just need something cheap. This is made specifically to work with the nail treatment machines, like the nail curing machines. This kind of stuff, so whenever you're dealing with UV materials, you have your different nanometer wavelengths of UV. So you have 365, 415, whatever. There's 395. There's different. Anyway, there are different spectrums of UV reactive acrylics and stuff like that. So basically, you need to make sure that whatever you get, you use the right UV lamp. And I'll actually demonstrate that in a second. So I have this thing here. This is for a dentist. If you turn it on, it's a UV lamp. It's actually, I love this thing. It's extremely bright. But anyway, you can get these off Amazon. They're like 20, 30 bucks. But this is like, gosh, I don't know, like 370 something, 390. It's a weird wavelength. It's not quite right for what I need, but it works. It works with 415, and it works with most 365. It just that 365 depends on how fast it cures. If it's something slow curing, actually, you know what? It might not work with 365. I don't know. It depends. The stuff I have cures really slowly, so I don't use this personally. I need to try it though. But anyway, you can only turn this on for like 10 or 20 seconds at a time, and if you use it a bunch, it gets really, really hot. So there's that, and then I have over here, I actually modified this. I'll show you guys. So I have this thing. Let me zoom out. So anyway, this is called a nail star, you know, whatever UV thing. But oh hey, what's up? It's the kind that uses the lamps. This is a true 365 nanometer light. This is the same type of light that IM manufacturers use when they're making IMs from the actual molds, like silicone molds or agar molds. And what I did is I just attached one of those spinning little wheels to it, one of these things. So basically, I stick my IM in there, and it's got a timer. I don't use the timer, but if you wanted to, you could use the timer, turn it on. You gotta make sure you put a battery inside. But yeah, basically put your mold in there and it spins it and it cures your resin. So anyway, I'll show you guys all this stuff later on, but let me zoom back in real quick. Alright, so to get started, let's see, what are we at for time? 13 minutes in? Okay, so some of the tools, like I said, you'll need some sharp razor knives, some tweezers. You'll need soldering iron, of course. You want some decent solder. I have these helping hands here with magnifier, and I have solder wick, solder, and I have my stand and all that. So anyway, you'll need at least some good soldering iron, and maybe something like some braid or something to remove the solder. So let's get started. So actually, let me stand back up just for a second. I just want to show you guys something. So whenever you're working on an IM, you'll see there's a seam where the faceplate attaches to the shell. So from here down, from there down is the faceplate, okay? So that's the faceplate. It's completely flat, and you can see like the side profile here, you can kind of see through. So you see that's where the faceplate starts. Okay, and then from there down is the shell. Basically what you want to do is you want to cut right at that seam, and I'll show you how I do it. When I first started doing this, I used to use like a sawing motion. That's not recommended. You might need to saw into it a couple times just to get a good grip into the resin, and then you want to apply a lot of pressure to slice it off. But I'll show you some of the pitfalls to avoid. For instance, you can't tell with this one, but I actually cracked this faceplate. I repaired it, so you can't even tell. But basically, when I was separating the faceplate, part of it wanted to adhere here because it's bonded completely to the connector, like in this area. So there's a lot of resin that's holding it on. So when I started slicing, I kind of pried it, and you'll have IMs that'll tend to crack along this edge right here. So wherever the most amount of resin is that holds the faceplate to the shell, you're gonna have cracking. And I've had multiple IMs do that to me, but recently I got good at repairing them and getting rid of those seams. I mean, you can't even... Yeah, I mean, unless you know what you're looking for, you can't even tell. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. See on the edge? But I mean, from here, under light, like, you can't tell. It's like almost impossible. You can only tell right when you get to the edge there. And in the sunlight, you can't even see that. So anyway, so that's just a little tip for you guys. So let's get started. All right. So, oh, my chair's going down. I get a lot of this stuff. Whatever I don't buy, I get for free. This desk I got for free. My computer monitor I got from a thrift store for 20 bucks. My chair I found in the trash. A lot of the stuff I pick up for free. So it's not the greatest stuff, but it works. I repurpose it. So for this attempt, I think I'm going to do the same thing. So basically, sorry guys if I kind of block you. I need to make sure I have my light in here. Oh, yep, it's already cracking. Man, that didn't take no pressure at all. So basically, yeah, I just kind of saw into it, and then just apply pressure as you go. And all this stuff can be repaired at a later time. It's just resin, so it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if you leave marks. So, I'll show you guys. So you can always sand it down and redo it. I hope you guys saw that. Hope that was in focus. Anyway, so here's the shell. Here's the faceplate. Okay. Focus. So you can see it's still intact. Okay. You can see there's a little bit of the lacquer, a little bit of resin still on. I'm just going to leave that there because I'm going to combine my new resin with that. You don't ever want to sand any of this down. You only want to sand it when the IM is back together. But yeah, see right there? See there's a little bit clinging on. Okay? You guys see all that? But basically, if you look at the top of the faceplate, it's intact. It's completely intact. No damage to it whatsoever. So anyway, so here's the shell. I'll take a look at the shell too. You can see the surface isn't smooth. There's a little bit of roughness there. It's about as good as you're gonna get for such a simple method without using like a diamond saw or something and sawing into the entire IM. I used to do that. I don't recommend it. You get dust everywhere. It's just a big pain in the ass. The easiest way to do it is to get a really sharp blade. It's got to be brand new. Okay, so you got to have a brand new razor, and you find the seam. Okay, just find wherever the shell meets the faceplate. Maybe saw into it a couple times just to dig the blade into the resin, and then make sure all your fingers are out of the way. Because I've done that too. I've slipped and stabbed right in my fingers. But basically, you just want to put pressure on it until it cracks, and it'll pop right off. So those are the drivers right there. And then what we need to do is, if you look, they're secured. There's a little bit of resin right there that's securing them. There's resin right here that's securing them kind of to this connector. And then there's the two sound tubes, and there's a little blob of resin on each sound tube that adheres them. There's also double-sided tape that's underneath too. So this next step I won't really explain too much. I'm just going to do it, because it's hard for me to stop and keep explaining every part. But I'll kind of show you guys what I'm doing throughout the or after I'm done with the process. So let's focus back in. I'm sorry if I wasn't in focus before. Stupid phone's not autofocusing. Alright, so let me get back in my chair. Good light on the situation. Let's see, I'll do this. You guys see that? Yeah, you guys can see that. Okay. So, light is very important. If you need good light. I need to get more lights, but yeah, basically, whenever you do this kind of work, you need to make sure you have good lights. So detaching the BA from the shell, you basically need to find where the resin is, and you do this kind of similar to how you separate the faceplate, although with this you have to use more of a sewing motion usually. Sometimes it'll just pop. So for instance, this resin holding onto the side of the BA just kind of popped off. And this corner is going to be a little harder. was gonna say too, just like you don't want your blade to slip and like, you know, get your body, you know, hit yourself or whatever. You don't want your blade to slip and hit anything else inside the IM. So whenever you put pressure on something, it's always good to make sure that you brace your hands. So if you need to grip the blade with your fingers like this, you know, however you can support your tool will help a lot. So you notice, like, I'm not doing this freehand, I'm doing it on the table. I'm planting my hands on the table, and when I go to make these cuts into the resin, I'm bracing the IM and my hand to make sure that I don't accidentally slip. Because if you slip, you're going to have a bad time. You could sever something that you don't want to sever. And if you wonder what I'm doing right now, basically I'm carefully cutting away the tubing from the speaker. Unfortunately, there's not very much resin on this tube. Another thing too is tools like this. So like I got hooked blades. I have, let's see, I'll show you guys. I have needles. You see I got sewing needles everywhere. People probably think I'm crazy for having that many needles. I have magnets that hold all this stuff. I got various like tools to poke and prod. If you're repairing IMs, you're going to need stuff like this. Basically, oh, come on. But yeah, so I got like various sewing needles and instruments to kind of help me out a little bit. So, when you're working on a small scale, you need small tools. Oh, come on. It's coming. I'm just gonna see if I can pull it. So I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. And I'm actually going to add more resin. Oh shit. Oh well, whatever. Sorry guys, I'll be right back. So basically, if you guys don't know what happened, went to apply some resin, and this happens. These get a little sticky, these syringes. Sometimes it'll just like spray out a whole bunch. And honestly, I need a finer tip on here, but whatever. I'm kind of lazy, so. But I'm adding resin because what I'm finding is that the tubing is for anybody that doesn't know, the tubing is really thin. Let's see if I can find it. So here's your tubing. This is actually exact tubing. It's one millimeter, and so what's happening is when I'm pulling on the driver, it's stretching, and it's not coming off. So I'm adding more resin, so that way when I put pressure against the driver, it'll put the opposite pressure on the resin that's holding the tube, or the resin that surrounds the tube, and it'll just kind of pop the two apart. But I'm like having to cut around the tube, and the tube's being stubborn, so. Alright. Let's see, this should be good. Now let's see. I'll use one of these instead. Oh, did I break it? Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, well. God damn it. God damn. That stupid tape. Oh well, at least I got my resin back. Alright. Well, the tube's still in good shape. So that's good. There you go, guys. I'll show you what I did. There we go. Alright, so here are the liberated BA. One of the wires came off, which is okay, but yeah. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, you fucker. Sorry guys, 1 second. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, actually, can I get closer? No, that's too bright. Okay. So here are the tubes. So you can kind of see one right there. See they're a little mulled up a little bit. There's another one. Well, you can't really see it. It's hard for you guys to see it. I can see it a little better, but there's another one right there. So basically what I'm doing is I had to separate them from the BA, and there's this tape at the bottom here, and the tape kind of rests up like that, and I don't know if it goes over the tubes or if it goes under the tubes, but it likes to stick with the resin, so it's pulling everything. It's a fucking stupid tape, but anyway, so it's free, and you can see one terminal came off, but it's alright, we'll fix it. We got enough wire still left right there. So, alright. Move this back over. There we go. Alright. Okay. Come on. So now I'm just basically reapplying the tape to my new BA. Just solder my wires. I grab a little bit of flux. Alright, a little flux on there. Let me see what I can do with this wire here. Maybe I can melt the shielding back. That might work. Yeah, that works. Okay, that's enough. And basically what I just did is I used my soldering iron to melt the shielding, the plastic coating on the wires, to melt it back a little bit so I could wire in my new BA. That's not going to work. Solder I'm using here is just 6337, just cheap leaded solder. It's good quality, but it's not great. Normally, I would much rather use the stuff that I used to use before. I haven't been able to find it recently, but it's called Cardis Equitech. It's a high-grade silver solder meant specifically for audio applications, and it's very good stuff. Okay. I'm sorry guys if I'm kind of blocking you. I'm just trying to get this BA in here without damaging anything. We're close. Come on. What am I getting hung up on? I'm stuck on something. I don't know what it is. Sorry guys, I got a little debris in here I need to get out. Wait a second, what happened here? Why do I have a detached wire? Seriously? How did I break a wire? Man, this is just not going well for me today. Fuck, dude, I got another wire to fix? Sorry guys, I don't know if this, if my phone's gonna be able to record long enough. Where does this one go? Maybe I can just solder that. Ah, that's making a good connection. Alright, let's try this again. That is the weirdest thing. What was I getting stuck on? Alright, well. Sorry, guys. Ran into some technical difficulties there. Two broken wires. I didn't have anything like that happen on the last one I worked on. I had a busted wire going to the tweeter here. I had to solder it. You might be able to see the solder joint down there somewhere. Is that it right there? Oh, yeah, maybe that's it right there. Somewhere in there. But yeah, freaking busted wire I had to solder, and then I had the wire came off of these, obviously. Freaking had a hell of a time trying to get them in there, but they're in there now. So I'm going to pause for a minute, and I'm going to just test to make sure that all the speakers are working. Make sure the tweeters are still working just fine. There's no like crazy issues or anything. And then I will work on resin and putting them back together. So hang on just a second. Alright guys, everything's good. Just listen to it for a minute and everything sounds good. So I'm going to grab some resin real quick and button them back up. So I'll show you how I do that. I'll just pause one more time. Alright, move this. Okay, cool. So basically what I'm going to do, and my phone battery's dying, that's why I'm trying to hurry this up. I have my resin here that I'm going to use. I have a clean syringe, okay, and I have my UV light right here. I would like to use the Egger resin that I showed you earlier, but it takes too long to cure and I don't have a proper light. I want to get this resin cured like instantly. The risk of gluing these BA back in is if they're not seated properly, or they pop out and go back in, there's a chance that the resin could get inside, and you don't want the resin to get inside between the BA and the tubing. You want the resin to be on the outside, or at least outside the BA, inside the tube, but you don't want it to get inside the BA. So, alright. Put this down here. Nozzle's too small.